talk to people. And so this is the two crafts. So what happened was on this particular situation is that when the long-range radar pick up an object, the Air Force, they would let us notify the Army, then we would have our little radar. We would pick up this object too at a closer range. It would send information back to what they call the illumination radar is what picks it up after the Air Force gives information up, and then the illumination radar, they give it to another set of people which call it target acquisition. So what this radar does, it takes the information from this radar that picks the thing up and send it through the computer, and the computer send it to the missile, and it make that missile, aim it onto that object, and it shoots it down. Okay, so that's what happens. So if they pass the radar, they will tell us. That's what me and my driver, we have to let them know what direction that they are coming. So we would use, like if you come in, at height, we use time, like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, like that. And so anyway, they told us that these two objects were coming in our direction. And so I saw these two objects through the long-range binoculars. They just moved right out of sight, just like that. And they really were moving. And again, where do they come from? When I talked to some of the people on this Air Force radar, he said that, normally I said, well, where they come from the east, they come from the west. He said they just appeared. You got your round radar screen. So they didn't know, like if they come this way, they're coming to the picture of the screen, said they there, you see a screen, now you see the object in the screen. That's how they do it. They appear and they're moving. And that's what happened to these two craft here. So when we were looking out at these craft, they passed over. They're about 300 feet above our head. And when they passed us, they were really moving pretty fast. And Mariah and our body would heat, and then we felt drowsy, and nauseated, vomit, like we wanted to vomit, and I mean you felt funny, because these things passed over. It was real hot. That's about 110 degrees where our body felt when these things came over us. And we lost communication. We couldn't talk to nobody, and we thought something had happened to our radio equipment, but we couldn't put two and two together. We didn't think that they had anything to do with it. But later on, after we did get communication, restore communication again, we went back into headquarters and we found out that everybody had lost communication. Even the local population, they couldn't get the radio station or the TV station. Everybody, military, civilian, everybody lost communication for a while. But anyway, on the way back to the debriefing, at the end of the day, we stopped up in a little park and we saw this strange-looking craft going down the canal, what we thought was a canal, but it turned out to be a UFO. And we were late, we had missing time, and we got in trouble about it. That's another talk all by itself too. Okay, again, now I got this map here. These I'm just going to point out to you where now down in Australia, you got a lot of activity going on down here in Australia, and you got down there what you call Pine Gap. That's just like out Area 51, and around the area, you got all kinds of stuff going on down there. And again, they have craft coming in out of the ocean down there. In New Zealand, the same way. They have lots of different sighting activities going on, not just us in the United States. And over here in India, they have stuff going on there. India, a lot of information going on. Down in Chile, Brazil, Argentina. Most of our activities are in Central South America, Puerto Rico, Mexico, and all up down in the southern part of the United States, and the western part of the United States, and awful lot going on up here in Canada. Up here in Greenland, we have a lot going on up there too. A lot of people's up there. Now you don't hear much about this because up in Greenland, you just don't hear much about it. In Iceland, there's a lot going on in Iceland. Let me tell you something, dude. Now you know how they got the name Iceland and Greenland? Okay, actually Iceland is a nice place. That's just like, and Greenland is not just ice, it's terrible to be there. So what happened, the early sailors, they went there and they saw Iceland, they saw Greenland. They said, oh, this is a beautiful place, so let's tell everybody that the good place is Iceland because nobody want to go there, and the bad place is Greenland. So that's how I understand. That's how they got the name Greenland, Iceland. In case you want to go to a nice place, go to Iceland, don't go to Greenland. Okay. Up in Russia, awful lot going on in Russia. Now it's just beginning to come out now, what KBG used to do. They had a film on TV not too long ago about the KBG. I was trying to find somebody to get a copy of it.
There's a catalog that has copies of that.
Oh, he does? Oh, good.
Roger Moore.
Yeah.
I
have a catalog.
Oh, great. Then I'll see you.
Good.
Anyway, but our whole world is being watched, and they're interacting with it. Now here in the United States, now let me tell you back now, I was neck of the woods. Okay, this up here, this is Washington State, and this is the Puget Sound coming down there, okay, and out here, this is eastern Washington. Okay, out here is where you have a lot of UFO activity going in and out of the ocean. This actually Puget Sound just it's inland from the ocean. Down in Fort Lauderdale, right down in here where the chupacabra, the lady claims she saw the chupacabra that flew up and a car went under here. This is Mount Shasta. In this area, they have a lot of activity at Mount Shasta, and people can go out any given time. They see them in the clouds and all this kind of thing out there. The whole state. And this is Utah. Okay, now the Area 51, most of the stuff they moved up here to Utah. Like Area 51 now, they don't have too much of that stuff. They moved a lot of it up there. Then when they moved a lot of stuff out up in Minnesota. They moved a lot of it up there too. A lot of people don't know about it. They got a big underground complex up there. Down here, out neck of the woods in Texas, you got a lot of stuff going on down here in Texas. And down in the Grand area down here where the sighting was, it was down in here. And over here, and up in here, area, up in around New York and northeast area, a lot going on because it's highly populated. And this is high up in the cities and stuff like that. They go there because they, like I said earlier, they can camouflage themselves, and people won't think to look at it. They think they are looking at an airplane. They're not. In California. Now here, I remember when I was stationed here in Fort Lauderdale, California. We went down here on a maneuver, and I was part of this. I told you I was part of this military team that go out when anything crashed. But we went here, and this is where this craft came up, and came up as a cloud. I'll talk about it later, and then disappeared. Cloud disappeared. It was a craft. In Mexico, all along this Mexico border here, they got a lot of activity going on too. And this harp, the harp up in Alaska, they had one up there, and they got certain antenna. Now, a couple of years ago, you can remember that they were talking, you know, the harp thing was hot. All of a sudden, that's one thing about ufology. Everything, the hot news today, and the government, they know, so, well, we just hang on, guys, they're going to forget about it, start talking about something. Then they all died down. You don't hear nothing about that now. At the time, they were building this harp thing. They even tried to build one down in Puerto Rico. When we were down there, they were protesting it. But now you don't hear too much. It's not news. Just like regular news. It's hot today, it's gone. Now, when they were building it back then, they estimated it would be done about now. Now they're complete. And now we have all this foul weather. We have all this weather because they did say at that time that what the harp were used for. They're used for experiment with communication, better communication. They want to do some weather experiment. They said some weather experiment. and a lot of other things too. That's what they tell. So people think that they just doing that. But I'll tell you something now. I went to a conference that was, what's the guy that wrote the book Underground Bases? What's his name? You know what I'm talking about. He written a book on underground bases. I can't think.
Was it David Childress?
No.
He was one of them, but this was another guy. But anyway, he was talking about the HAARP, how they had the little satellite antennas, because those HAARP antennas put out something like a million kilowatts of power. I mean, that's a lot of power. You could fry the atmosphere with this. And so they had antenna. If you up in this area here, you see a lot of antenna. Every so often come down like this, and they come this way. They go across. Now people confuse them with Southwestern Bell AT&T, okay? Because AT&T was a prime contractor to build these things for the government. AT&T, and so you see the antenna with these dishes and stuff, and sometimes the way you tell, you see every once in a while you see these antennas. They look like a parabolic TV type antenna, but they don't. They're a little big. They're huge. Okay, and they got the huge tower with the little microwave dishes on. And what you do, you look around closer, you see one dish sitting like it's on the ground, and it's flat on the ground, facing up. Okay, they turn these things on from the satellite. That's where that thing facing up is to get the satellite signal to turn these on. And when they turn these on from the satellite, these remote areas, they could do things in certain areas. Like I said about the grid, earlier I said they had these grids with these GPS satellites. That's another thing, what they use it for is to turn these in. If they want to do something in one grid, okay, say the southern part of Texas, for example, that grid, the southern part of Texas, if they want to do something there, they could turn that part on and won't affect nothing else. It might affect the weather, communication, even it might have something to do with your mind control. They do all that too, mind control. Because during that time that they was experimenting building this harp, they were in full speed working on this mind control. And the idea was, once they get this mind control project done, then they would use HARP as the long distance carrier. Like we got our telephone, we got AT&T, our long distance carrier, where they have HARP. That's the long distance. Say they want to control, say all the people here in this southern part of Texas, I was saying, hey, well, let's make these people think that way. So that is if they had it going on. I'm not saying it's going to happen. So they'll turn that satellite on to just this area, control it that way. And how do it affect the atmosphere with communication? It affects the area because of the magnetic field. Because if this antenna put out this much radiated magnetic energy, it can alter the energy. Another thing too, what a lot of people don't know about what the thing is, as a defense against UFOs. Because as we all know, UFOs, their propulsion system has something to do with magnetic energy. If we can alter and do something with this magnetic energy, what are we going to do to the UFO? They're not going to come down here because supposedly in 1947, this craft crashed because it had something to do with the microwave. How many people heard of that? Now, if we are going to be invaded, I mean, a lot of people think that, I don't know. But instead we get invaded, what kind of defense we got against a satellite thing that could move 1,000 miles in 1 second up in the stratosphere? What kind of defense we got against it? Okay? So what they would do, if they can affect this magnetic field, then this thing couldn't go nowhere. This is some of the things that they think that happened with this. Now on this mind control montage up in New York, now how many people ever read Nicholas' his book about Tesla? Yes. Yes. When I went there back in August, I got a chance to go there and talk to them. They're still doing that. Now the base itself, you go there, you don't see no activity on there, but they got the gate closed. You say, don't go in here. But you see vehicles there, so they moved everything underground. Okay. Okay, now this is what happened in the Washington State. I told you about the 2 discs came over and then had this cylinder. Like the problem, this is what happened there. And they went to that right over that Navy area, that Navy base, and then when they were doing their maneuver. And these 2 craft, they had this something like what do you call this? Halo from them at a low altitude. Okay, again, this is where he went from. I lived here, and those things were coming this way, right across over there. Now this is where that craft, now this is up on that mountain. Remember I told you about a mountain up there where people go fishing? Now this is where they saw the craft coming in and out of this little lake here. This is the area up on top of the mountain. I took this picture. The military base, you're not supposed to take pictures of the area. That's something else too. No picture. They tell you got a sign everywhere. Don't take no pictures. But you know how I'm human. You know how us human are. You know, they said don't do it. That means yes to us. We got to do it. If they said take pictures, then I would probably have took a picture. Okay, thanks. Okay, again, in this place here they have a lot of sightings over the cities. That's why I say that over cities, you see cities, you look up, they're there. They don't have to be in the desert out in the open area. Okay, again, This here is in Wyoming. We stopped at this one little town, Casper. Anybody know about Casper? Anybody been to Wyoming? Casper, Wyoming. This is where you go to on the road to Casper, Wyoming. We stopped in this town, and people have all kinds of stories. How they see strange lights during these different things at night. No sound in UFO, but you don't hear much about that because people, you know, they know what's going on in their area, but every once in a while you say something going on someplace else. But the activity has increased twofold within the last few years. It is still increasing more and more. You know, and they are up there. You can see them too. Okay. I'll tell you a trick to see those two a little bit later.